Welcome to Business Beyond the Classroom, and today we got a really interesting topic to talk about. A lot of you may be aware, very recently, Congress has brought the TikTok CEO into some questioning in U.S. Congress. And what's going on right now is that the United States is looking to see if TikTok is a threat to national security. They're concerned about it essentially being spyware. Now, we have different opinions about that situation, of course, but we really want to highlight something that could or could not happen to businesses, more specifically small businesses. I have a little statistic here. Here's a survey from Capterra. 78% of small businesses that run ads on TikTok have already realized a positive return on investment. So there are a lot of signs that over 3/4 of small businesses that are on TikTok, which I'm not mistaken, there's over 5,000 according to the CEO, if I have that number correct. There's a lot of businesses that use TikTok for marketing. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I think that's really impressive to see how a more newer social media platform can already turn good revenue for over 3/4 of small businesses.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like only in the United States, there has been over 210 million downloads for TikTok. So that means that like a lot of people are using it out there. And, I have TikTok on my phone. I don't know if you do.
I
But
do, yes.
Yes,
right?
me too.
People spend a lot of time on TikTok, and what's going to happen if it gets banned and then small businesses can just market their products anymore?
That's tricky because I think, and I get a lot of TikToks that are actually about various small businesses. Whenever there's a trend going around, I think a lot of small businesses participate in that. And they get not only the revenue from views if they're signed up for their partnership program, but they just gain a lot of attention from that in general.
They really do. It's also just the environment of TikTok.
Yeah.
It's different from Instagram, Snapchat, in the sense that you can post whatever it is. And if people like it, I mean, you will just get thousands, if not millions of views and likes. And that is just a way for small businesses, especially, to just get more people to know their name and to know their business.
Right. And Jesus, you talked about, real quick too, you talked about what would happen if they got banned. So, like, if they got banned, what do you think we might see happen?
Well, you see, that's going to be a lot of trouble because, like, for a small business standpoint, then what's your alternative to do advertising and marketing? Just when you think about it, right?
Right.
And this is like a really controversial topic because you got to think about the users, those who are from a business, right? Like this small business or entrepreneurs, and then also the government,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
right? So they have different point of views on this. The government is concerned that a lot of data that is collected by these companies can be taken from the Chinese government at any point because that back in, I think it was like 6 years ago, they just created this bill that would allow the Chinese government to request that data from these companies. And let's just remember that TikTok and these other social media platforms, at least the top 3 or 4 in the App Store, are headquarters in China. So
Yeah.
that's their concern, right? That's the
Right.
main point to bring this up. But what about the users?
Yeah, absolutely.
I also think it's important to note while this is an amazing opportunity and resource for the smaller businesses that are using this to kind of spread awareness of their startups, a lot of the larger corporations, for example, Wells Fargo Bank, they're instructing their employees to delete the app because they don't want that risk of the exposure of their information. So it's kind of interesting to see the correlation between how this is used as a positive resource for smaller businesses trying to get that awareness, but the larger corporations are advising their employees not to use it and to, kind of play I agree with everything everyone said, but to play devil's advocate for a little bit. I think a lot of the fears stem from some lacks that TikTok security, has in terms of absence of two-factor authorization. I think a lot of apps these days have that now. I know for Instagram, Snapchat, they have that. So I think that could be something they can do and implement to kind of gain people's trust, as well as maybe upping the age limit for the kids. Because I just sat in on a lecture from a Harvard professor that just visited campus, and she was kind of touching base on how those short clips on TV and TikTok can be dangerous because you don't have enough time in those clips to fully explain an issue, to fully give evidence and facts. So they're usually really charged and either negative or positively charged. So I think it can incite some either great support or even some violence. So I think that there's two sides to this for sure. And I think the government and the user can hopefully find a compromise to keep it in the state safely.
Yeah, now that you mentioned like the large corporations and how they're kind of more viewing it towards negative impact on their employees, I think large corporations, they're kind of scared of it, of the power that TikTok holds, especially in
absolutely.
the United States. I believe cancel culture kind of arose from
Yes.
TikTok.
Definitely.
I saw that.
TikTok and Twitter.
Absolutely. And, the fact that it has such a big influence on especially the younger generations, our generation, younger siblings of ours, it's scary to think about, just one wrong post, one wrong comment or caption can just lead to, their demise, really.
Yeah, and that's
Sure.
an excellent point about cancel culture, and that kind of ties back into the significance of the few seconds you have to represent yourself. And that can be a very powerful or a very dangerous thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's an interesting fact for you guys. So just a couple days ago, I remember watching on TikTok a video of the president and CEO of the company saying that his own children do not use the TikTok app because they're too young for that, right? And the reason for this is because his children live in Singapore, and in that country, there's no version of TikTok for children younger than 13. So is that what the U.S. government will need to do here in the U.S.?
So currently, right now, there is a set law in the United States, and when you sign up for TikTok, you'll see it too that you actually have to be 13 years or older. Now, how many users actually apply to that? I don't think many, because if you were any impressionable 9 or 10-year-old, I think you lie about your age all the time to get what you want. And so that's just a barrier for the sakes of legal action. Like, they can just put that there so they don't get sued. Like, that's why every social media company does that. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, it has that threshold. However, let's take YouTube, for example. YouTube has YouTube Kids, and YouTube Kids blocks off comment sections and like ratios and all that. So that way, and it also monitors the content to see if it's good or bad for children, right? So maybe an implementation of that for TikTok might exist. But if I have to, just not to throw in too much of my personal opinion, but I think TikTok isn't really made for young teenagers. I see it more as a 16, 17, 18 and up kind of thing, just because a lot of the content on there, I think, is just more geared toward adults. And not only that, but to go back to the business side of things too, if you're talking about businesses, like 13, 14, and 15-year-olds aren't looking to shop at like the small business this or that. That's people more geared towards our age, our younger 20s, maybe 18, 19,
Yeah.
So I think TikTok, in regards, if we're being realistic about the age of the people on TikTok, I think it's more geared towards our age, personally. What do you guys think?
No, yeah, I agree. And I think, I don't want to sound hypocritical. I'm on TikTok all the time. But I think COVID-19 also has a big factor in this because
sure.
I think that came about while we were all locked in our houses. And I think that for the app was a huge opportunity and it got everyone hooked on it in that time period. And now, it's continued to withstand that kind of, stature as being one of the higher apps at the moment. And I think that Hunter has an excellent point there. I think, we all use it for entertainment and it does have its positives for sure. And I think COVID-19 highly affected how many users of the app there actually are.
Yeah, and also, just going back to the whole small business aspect on TikTok, at least for my For You page, I tend to look at a lot of those street vendors, and it's the people, like the consumers, that use their own TikTok to promote the street vendors, the small businesses. I see a lot of the ones over in like Los Angeles, California, those street vendors who are known for making some delicious foods and treats, but who just don't have that recognition. And those who do that for a living and who, at most maybe makes $100, $200 a week probably. it's definitely not only just the small businesses using TikTok, but also the consumers helping to promote it as well.
Right. And real quick, too, go ahead. I think Jesus had something to say.
Well, I
as
was
well.
just gonna say, like, there are so many concerns about TikTok, but if you think about it, like, all of these concerns also applies for all major social media platforms.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
sure.
And you don't see this being a hot topic in Congress. It's all about TikTok right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we wanted to talk about concerns, I think we could talk about Meta if we wanted to. I think that's a topic for another day. But
Yeah.
if we wanted to, we could. But real quick, just as we kind of close, one other part that I thought of in regards to TikTok and small businesses. Have you guys ever gotten the sponsored TikTok ads? So you'll swipe through and there's a TikTok and it looks like a regular
Yes.
TikTok, but you'll notice it says sponsored on the bottom
Yep.
left.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So those, I will notice a lot of those are for larger corporations. So larger corporations do rely on TikTok for their stuff as well, no doubt. But I have seen some as well for some smaller businesses. And I even seen it for a college out in Western PA, Geneva, I believe was the college. So like there's colleges and universities that rely on this kind of stuff as well. And so if there's a TikTok ban, I actually think that like it isn't just going to be like businesses. I think it'll be organizations in general. So yeah, I think that organizations like universities and other businesses that rely on sponsored content, not just like regular TikToks to get their stuff out there, because sponsored content is also relying on other like large popular users to help them out as well. And so if it gets a ban, like I think it'll be a more significant drop than what we perceive already. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, for sure. The marketing departments and a lot of these corporations and small businesses will take a hit. But I guess if that happens, us consumers are just going to have to put our phones down and go outside and maybe play or something. But alrighty, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Business Beyond the Classroom. We would love to hear your advice as well, maybe in the comments. And we'll have to stay tuned and see what happens with this debacle over TikTok in the United States. Alrighty.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Adios.